Now many people say, well, Darrel, you can't call religion a virus. How many of you have gotten a computer virus in here? Okay, good, good. Now I have an Apple computer, so I don't get viruses, but obviously I get a commission from Steve Jobs. He's my God, actually. All right. Bad man. All right, so did you go to the repairman or whoever it was that fixed your computer and he said, you got a computer virus on your computer? Or did you argue with him and say, I don't have a computer virus? That's not a real virus. You didn't say that, did you? No, huh? Isn't that interesting? The virus on your computer acts a whole lot like the virus in the biosphere that infected Alex's nose and created the cold in him. The virus gets on the computer, tries to make the computer do bad things. Things you don't want it to do. Religion is the same way. Religion wants to infect your mind. Religion is a set of instructions. Think about it. A biological virus is nothing more than a set of instructions in how to get into your cells, propagate itself, and get to the next toast. That's what a virus is, a set of instructions. A computer virus is nothing more than a set of instructions on how to get from one computer hard drive to the next computer hard drive. The Catholic religion is nothing more than a set of instructions in how you infect people's brains with the Catholic God virus. The Muslim God virus, the Baptist God virus, it matters not. They're all sets of instructions. Now, sometimes those instructions mutate. And when they mutate, they may have different effects. Some unsuccessful, some successful. So you get Lutheranism as a mutated Catholic virus. And it's extremely successful. It hit the nail on the head. But there were literally hundreds of other viruses that started up before Luther came along. They weren't as successful. There are many biological viruses that are never going to succeed. Only a tiny fraction succeeds. Many viruses are competing to get into your body. There are billions and billions of viruses out there competing for a limited number of bodies to get into. Now those bodies might be people, or swine, or rats, or ants. But there's still far more viruses out there than could ever infect all the brains. There's far more religions out there trying to infect brains. They're trying to propagate. And some of them are going to succeed and some aren't. We're in close to Mormon territory here. We have some ex-Mormons in here, recovering Mormons, I've heard rumors. Did you realize that in Palmyra, New York, in the 1830s, there were 50 or 60 new religions that popped up within a 10-year time period? It was called, this little area of 2 or 3 counties, northern upstate New York, came known as the Burned Out District. You heard of the Burned Out District? Yeah, okay. Loretta, you get the prize for the answer today. So, the Burned Out District was because people in this district kept getting saved. A new religion would come up, they get saved. Some people got saved 6, 7 times, you know? They're definitely going somewhere. Somebody's having to get saved. So, only one of those religions survived. Any guesses what it was? Mormonism. The rest of them, we don't know what happened to them. They're all dead or gone. Mormonism survived. But even Mormonism had to mutate because Mormonism was very parasitic. It was an extremely parasitic religion. I'm from Kansas City. That's where it split. That's where it mutated. Now the more benign mutation became the church that stayed in Kansas City. The more parasitic mutation moved on out to Salt Lake City and created a whole theocracy that still exists today despite anybody's protestations. So, my thesis is that religion is an infection of the mind. It has consequences for cognitive functioning, both intelligence and personality. There are more than 50 studies done over the last 70 or 80 years, for example, that shows intelligence is negatively correlated with religiosity. The more religious you are, the lower your IQ is likely to be. Now, we all know intelligent people that go to church every Sunday. Don't get me wrong. The bell curve extends the full width. It's just that the bell curve has shifted 5 points to the lower end with the religious. This research is not new. It's been around forever. There's not a single not a single piece of research in the last 70 or 80 years that shows any positive correlation between religiosity and IQ. It kind of goes back to what Bertrand Russell once said. He says something like, to my recall, I don't remember a single verse in the Bible in praise of intelligence. And that's true. There's no verse in the Bible that praises intelligence. In fact, it calls wise people fools. Well, that's a pretty big formula for killing curiosity. And that's probably what happens in many religions. They kill curiosity. Those infected with religion tend to avoid or deny scientific or rational explanations for their behavior in favor of the supernatural. We've all heard somebody say, God helped me through the death of my husband or my wife. Well, as a non-theist, you or I might say, I have a lot of emotional strength, I have good friends, I know how to support another person while caring for myself. Now, you look at those two statements. Which one takes ownership for your behavior and your decisions? You know, this one over here has the potential to deny a hell of a lot of ownership. The devil made me do it. The Holy Spirit didn't tell me in time, you know, whatever, I don't know. But think about it. When people do not take ownership for their own behavior, decisions, and thought processes, they lose a lot of advantage in learning from their experience. And that's a pretty big part of intelligence, learning from your experience. Also, we know there's 5 key components to personality, only one of which has a positive correlation with, has a correlation with religiosity. It's negative correlation. Openness to new experiences and curiosity. Of the 5 key components of personality, people who have a high degree of openness to new experience and curiosity also have low religiosity. So if you're very curious, you're less likely to be religious. I know people who are very intelligent, they've got PhDs, but they have zero curiosity about my book or about Dr. Dawkins' book. They absolutely refuse to read anything that would contradict their God virus. Well, that's because the God virus has blinded them to it. They literally can't see it. It's not their fault. They were probably infected when they were 5 years old. Now, if you get infected with something when you're 5 years old, it's way too early for you to understand what's going on. So tonight I want you to focus on infection strategies. I could have called this the God virus, the God fungus, the God bacteria, the God parasite. It doesn't matter. All of these things have a strategy for infecting you. All biological viruses have a strategy for infecting you. And I want you to keep your focus on the strategy part, not on the metaphor of the virus. If you do that, you'll have a better understanding of what's going on. We're going to look at 2 principal kinds of strategy. The vertical and the horizontal infection strategy that almost all religions use. Bacteria and funguses and viruses use these too. The HIV/AIDS virus uses sexual contact to transmit. HIV is transmitted horizontally. Good, somebody caught me. Boy, you guys are as smart as you look here. HIV is infected horizontally. Right. Sometimes vertically, but mostly horizontally. Okay. You get it from somebody else. The swine flu is infected largely horizontally. I sneeze on Alex, Alex gets it. Alex sneezes on me, I get it. That's horizontal. So that's the definition of a horizontal infection. Rhinoviruses, HIV, flu, all are horizontal infections. New religions tend to focus on the strategy of horizontal infection. So a new religion, what are some new religions?
Sociology.
Mormon, yeah. Scientology. Rastafarianism, right?
Reptilians.
Generally speaking, Jehovah's Witnesses, I don't think I've heard that one. Yeah. So these newer religions, you'll notice, typically use a horizontal infection strategy. They go out and knock on doors. They get Jehovah's Witnesses come and knock on doors. Mormons come and knock on doors. They're out trying to spread their virus horizontally because they haven't been around as long as the other religions. They haven't been around long enough to infect vertically because they haven't had that many children. Now, that's not true of Mormons, of course. They're having billions of children. But they're still behind the Catholics by quite a bit. They're going to have to go. So, the new religions tend to use a horizontal infection strategy. Genetic diseases